Good evening, everyone. John McDermott here with the League of Uncommon Men podcast. Tonight, I'd like to talk about Ezekiel Chapter 40, and it is part of the final section of the book of Ezekiel, which is often referred to as Ezekiel's vision of the restored temple. This chapter initiates the detailed description of the new temple that Ezekiel envisions during the Babylonian exile, where God reveals the blueprint for a future place of worship. This vision represents the renewed relationship between God and his people, symbolizing the restoration of Israel and the promise of God's abiding presence among them. So the summary of the chapter includes the time and setting of the vision, verses 1 to 4. Ezekiel's vision takes place in the 25th year of the exile on the 10th day of the first month. He is brought in visions of God to the land of Israel and set on a very high mountain. There Ezekiel sees what appears to be a city and a man whose appearance is like bronze, holding a measuring rod. This man tells Ezekiel to carefully observe and describe what he sees, as it will be conveyed to the people of Israel. The measuring of the temple, verses 5 to 16. Ezekiel is led to a temple-like structure where the bronze man measures the wall surrounding the temple. He measures the gate, its guard rooms, and its vestibules, providing exact dimensions. The east gate is to be the first to be measured, followed by the outer court and the gates leading to it. The outer and inner courts, verses 17 to 37. The vision continues with a description of the outer court, including chambers for the priest and the north and south gates. Ezekiel is shown the inner court, its gates, and the measurement of these structures. The symmetry and meticulous detail emphasizes the perfection and holiness of the temple. The chambers for the priests, verses 38 to 47. Specific chambers are designated for priests who handle the temple sacrifices. There's also a room for washing the sacrifices, as well as the arrangements for the burnt offering, sin offering, and guilt offering. The inner court, which includes the altar, is also measured. The temple building, verses 48 to 49. Finally, Ezekiel is shown the entrance to the main temple building, including the dimensions of the vestibule and the pillars that adorn the entrance. So some of the key themes from the chapter include restoration of worship. This chapter is symbolic of the restoration of Israel's worship life after exile. The vision emphasizes the sanctity and orderliness of the new temple, underscoring the importance of a returning to a proper relationship with God. Holiness of God. The precise measurement and architectural details highlights God's holiness and perfection. The temple's design reflects God's desire for an ordered and pure place of worship. God's presence. The vision sets the stage for the ultimate goal of God's dwelling among his people. The temple represents the return of God's presence, which had earlier departed due to Israel's sins. So Ezekiel chapter 40 is a powerful vision of hope, symbolizing God's promise to dwell with his people again and restore their spiritual life after the period of exile. So I hope that gives you some insight into Ezekiel chapter 40. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you again soon.